guys, today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect healthy sandwich. Alright, so today what I want to show you is how to go through the different components of your sandwich to make sure it's really healthy. So I'm going to start off by deconstructing a regular sandwich, showing you how to make each element of it healthier, and then I'm going to show you this delicious vegan sandwich filling that you are going to go bananas over. So stay with me till the end because the recipe is going to be at the end. Now the first question I have for you is, do you eat sandwiches? Do you like sandwiches? I personally love sandwiches, but I get sort of, because you don't want to be eating all this bread and you want to eat the same right kind of bread. And I have so many questions, and that's why I'm making this video. So the most important part of the sandwich is the bookends, which is the bread, obviously. So you can do wraps and all kinds of different things, but generally speaking, with a bread, there are 3 different breads that I would recommend. First one is, obviously, we want to avoid refined white grains. So don't buy white bread. I know it kind of makes a delicious sort of squidgy sandwich for your peanut butter and jelly and whatnot, but refined grains, just as a reminder, they basically spike your blood sugar right up there. So you'll eat it and feel amazing and get all this energy, and then an hour later you feel awful and hungry again. So if you're going to go for a regular bread, go for a 100% whole grain bread or whole wheat bread. Now, what this means is when you look at the ingredients, it actually has to say 100% whole wheat. And it'll either say this on the front of the bread package or it'll say it in the ingredients. This is really important, 100%, not just whole wheat. Now, the other thing is be very mindful of the other ingredients in there, because even, supposedly very healthy whole wheat looking breads, you look at the ingredient in the grocery store and you're going to see high fructose corn syrup, which you don't really want in your bread. You want to try and avoid that because obviously it's another ingredient that's going to spike your blood sugar, and we found out really isn't the healthiest thing to have. So that's if you're going to go for 100% whole wheat. Now stay with me because I'm about to show you 2 really great bread choices that I personally love, actually over 100% whole wheat. Now the first one is, if you want to go gluten-free, there are some great gluten-free breads on the market, but there's a little bit of a warning with a gluten-free bread. In fact, gluten-free products all over, cookies, baking mixes, etc., is sometimes they're not that healthy. So they're filled with a lot of refined grains. So if you're looking at an ingredient list of a gluten-free product, don't assume, number one, that gluten-free is healthier, because it's not. But also you might see things like white rice flour. Well, that is a huge carb that is, again, going to spike your blood sugar. So that's your first takeaway that I want to give you. Gluten-free, check the ingredients. And there's one brand that I found that I really like. I've actually eaten half the loaf here, so you can see I've just got half a loaf left. And it's called Canyon Bakehouse, gluten-free. And why it caught my eye is that it says 7-grain bread. And I thought, wow, that's great for a gluten-free bread to have 7 grains in it, because it's the grains that we need if you're not on a grain-free diet. The grains we need, the whole grains, because they contain the minerals. We really live in an age now where we don't get enough minerals from our foods. And one of the prime places that those minerals can be found is in whole grains. So this particular one has a huge laundry list of grains in it. Now, there is a little bit of sugar in it, but it's not high fructose corn syrup, and oftentimes bread will need a little bit of sugar to rise and do what it needs to do, unless, of course, it's a sourdough bread or whatever. So that one I like a lot, and links underneath the video. Now, the other choice that you might want to make if you are not invested, if you don't have to be gluten-free, is you might want to go for a sprouted grain loaf. Sprouted grains are, I think, healthier. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth on whether they actually are, but I happen to think they are because I sprout a lot of my own grains and legumes and nuts at home. And I think when you sprout, which is basically soaking a grain or a nut or a legume, it helps it to be more digestible. That's the first thing. So if you tend to suffer from bloating after eating bread and sandwiches, try a sprouted grain. You can get sprouted grain pastas and breads and baking mixes, etc. So that's one reason. And then there's another school of thought that sprouted grains release in the sprouting more nutrients, so they're more nutritious. Anyway, all that being said, this is a brand called Dave's Killer Bread that is a family favorite. My husband, daughter absolutely love it. It's just a really tasty bread, so I wanted to show you that. And there are a lot more different brands that do sprouted grain too. So that's the bread, okay, to get healthier. Stay with me, guys. Do you like bread? Do you feel guilty about eating bread? Are you gluten-free? Leave me comments underneath the video. I love engaging with your comments. And stay with me because we're just going to do a couple more components and then we're going to get to this vegan filling recipe that you are going to love. So the next thing is a spread. Some people like a spread, some people don't. And obviously it depends. If you're stuffing your sandwich with a tuna salad or a chicken salad or something, it's got a lot of mayo in it, you don't need a spread. If on the other hand, maybe it's a cheese and ham sandwich, maybe you are used to having some kind of a spread or a butter. Now, I'm going to recommend that you do not go for any kind of regular margarine because often they have trans fats in them. Be very careful about that. You might want to go for butter. You know, I don't personally think butter is the devil incarnate. I don't eat it because I don't do dairy, but you know, you could go for that and make sure it's organic. This is the one that I wanted to show you. It is a spread. It is called Melt. Link underneath the video. It is my favorite spread. It is made with really healthy oils such as coconut oil and other oils, no trans fats, but it tastes so delicious. I have this on toast. Great spread to make the sandwich with. All right, now let's go on to arguably the most important aspect of the sandwich, mayonnaise. What is a sandwich without mayo? Whether it's in your tuna chicken salad or whether you're smearing it onto the actual slices, I'm a big mayo girl. But I don't eat regular mayo because I don't eat dairy. And I prefer to go for vegan mayonnaises. Okay, until recently, vegan mayonnaises, you could tell the difference. My husband and daughter were like, no, that is a vegan mayo. Now there's a new one on the market, which you totally can't. It's more delicious than regular mayo. And it is by Hampton Creek and it's called Just Mayo. And it comes in many different flavors. This one is Chipotle, I think there's a garlic, there's an original, it comes in a squeezy bottle, it comes in a jar, it's made of pea protein. How cool is that? Pea protein. So it's giving you all of this plant protein without the cholesterol of eggs. So to me, it's almost like the sort of perfect mayo and it tastes delicious. So that goes in almost 99% of my sandwiches. And then finally, let's talk about lettuce. So what's a good sandwich without a piece of crispy romaine lettuce, right? Make sure your romaine lettuce is organic. That is one of probably the most important things in your sandwich would be the lettuce and tomato needs to be organic. I don't always have tomatoes in my sandwiches, only in the absolute tip-top sort of ripeness of summer do I put one in because it's got to be delicious and organic. But I always put lettuce in. This one is by Organic Girl. You might have seen Organic Girl. They're in a lot of grocery stores now. A great brand. And I'll buy sometimes in a pinch these packets of just the romaine hearts, and they're really easy, pre-washed, sandwich ready, kaboom. So that is to deconstruct. Oh, one more very important thing, meat. Now, most people put meat in their sandwiches, so whether that's turkey or chicken breast or beef or luncheon meats or whatever, or bacon. Here's the takeaway for that. You know, I'm not going to judge you if you eat meat, by the way. I'm really not a judgmental person. I just happen not to. If you do, please make sure your meat is nitrate free, because nitrates are one of the few foods that have actually been linked to cancer. And they found originally there was this whole thing of, does bacon give you cancer? Well, bacon that is cured with nitrates was correlated and associated with cancer. So where you're going to find these nitrates is particularly in luncheon meats, cold cuts, hot dogs, bacon and smoked meats. So be very, very careful. You'll probably have to pay extra, go to a good store like Whole Foods Market or a health food store, and they'll probably only have meats, and it'll say naturally cured or nitrate free. So that's very, very important. All right, now all of that has been said, we are gonna get to my delicious vegan recipe. Okay guys, so here we go. Now I've got 2 slices of bread. This is the gluten-free bread, which is why the slices look a little smaller. And they're toasted, okay? Now, this is the filling that I have here, right? This is basically garbanzo beans or chickpeas, a can of organic ones that I've drained and smushed up. Now, when I say smushed, you don't want to blend them and have it go all, liquefied. You want a lot of texture in there, almost seeing the bean, but it's smushed, right? Next thing, I'm going to take my mayo. Now, this one is the Just Mayo by Hampton Creek, and it's the Chipotle one because I want that smoky flavor in my sandwich. And so I'm going to add that in there generously, my friends, generously. And we're going to I always eyeball the mayo. You can basically see how much is enough and how much is too much, if you get my meaning there. Then what I'm going to do is I am adding about half a cup of chopped up sun-dried tomatoes. These ones were packed in olive oil. And the reason that I'm doing this is A, it gives a bite, a delicious bite to your sandwich. And B, I don't know if you knew this, but sun-dried tomatoes are full of iron. So for the vegans and vegetarians among us, this makes for a really good addition to your sandwich. Now, finally, what I am going to do is I'm going to put in a little bit of arugula. Now, I could just put that in the actual sandwich, but I actually want to mix it in because if it's mixed in, it's going to adhere to the bread. Whereas if I put those slices of arugula, those leaves, of arugula into the sandwich, they would just fall out. And we don't want anything falling out of that sandwich, okay? So there is the filling of the sandwich. See how easy that was? It really was not a big deal, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I am now going to spoon that in to a little bit here. I'll probably make about 4 sandwiches out of this. And you know the really good thing with this is that you can make it way ahead of time and keep it in a little steel container in your fridge. So you've got sandwiches for the next few days for, the family at work, or if you're going to the office or whatever it is, or you're at college. Okay, so we have that there. Then I'm going to place this on here. So there I have my sandwich. Now I want to show you one more thing. Okay, now this is called a Lunchskin. And I'm obsessed with these because it's the eco-friendly way to pack your sandwich instead of using plastic bags or wrap. There's a little thing which is cute for name here. So they're great for kids, back to school and all of that, but great for adults too. And so I'm going to pick my sandwich up. I'm going to pop it in there. And look at that, sealed, eco-friendly, delicious vegan sandwich. What more could a girl want? I'll see you next time.